AITA for telling a girl off because I'm going to prom with a boy who has autism? I'm in high school and I'll be graduating in May. Our prom is in April. In my high school there are kids who have special needs and I sometimes go in there to help the teachers because I want to do this when I graduate. Yesterday I accepted a promposal from a boy, Theo, fake name, who's also graduating and going to prom. He asked me and I gladly accepted because he has been talking about it for months and he said he had a secret girl he wanted to ask. I had a feeling it was me because he's always staring at me and wanting to talk to me. I think he's the funniest person I've ever met as well as the sweetest. He has a problem with public speaking and eye contact, as do a lot of people on the spectrum, so he got up in front of the cafeteria with my boyfriend and had a sign and flowers and candy and asked me, "Will you go to prom with us?" My boyfriend and I always talk about how he has a crush on me because he always brings me homemade cookies. I had no clue they would do this. I gladly accepted. When we got back to our seats, this girl, who we will call Mandy, is that girl in high school. Think she's better than everyone. She goes, "Wow," taking advantage of a word that I won't repeat here, and Theo got really sad and walked off. I told her, "You're just mad because you've been used up and no one asked you, and I have two of the sweetest people who want to go with me." She got upset and called me names and I did too, and she walked off. I went to check on Theo and told him I am so excited, and we talked about what to wear. I went home and told my sister and she said I could have been nicer, but I'm like, she said, a slur and acts like people who have different abilities can't live their life to the fullest as well. Why would I be nice to her about anything? Her calling him a slur was not okay. But you basically called her a SLT in response, which is also not okay. It was hypocritical. Also, I might get hate for this, but it does seem a bit weird that you said yes to Theo when you already have a boyfriend. Would you have said yes if he wasn't autistic? It seems like you're going with him out of pity, and it does seem like you look down on him a little bit. This whole post kind of screams, "Look at me, taking the autistic kid to prom. I'm such a good person." All I will say is the way you speak about Theo in those posts makes him sound like an 8-year-old kid who has a crush on you, not a teenager. Special needs kids are infantilized enough. They don't need their peers doing so as well. I don't understand why people act like they're doing charity by going to prom with special needs people. Treat them equally. You have a boyfriend and it's weird you're acting like you're doing him a favor by saying yes. Yeah, no. This story isn't believable enough. It's so bad that I was waiting for, and then everyone applauded, moment. YTA for making a post looking down at autistic people and how nice you are to accept them. And even if this story was true, YTA for being so patronizing with Theo. You talk about him like he was a child. You want to make a post about how great you are for going to prom with an autistic kid you clearly look down on, and then you want to slut shame the other girl, who is apparently still using outdated and problematic slang about autistic people. Story barely holds together. Button if it's true. Accept Theo. Mandy for her hateful words and views. You and your BF for treating Theo like a child, using him to virtue signal. And you again for leading Theo on and slut-shaming Mandy. Normally I would be more understanding of an emotional response to a friend being insulted. But again, it doesn't sound like you're a genuine friend to Theo. She did kind of have a point that you may be taking advantage of this kid. You don't seem to take him seriously as a person. It's not your fault society has presented you with the idea that attending prom with a kid with special needs is a glorious act of charity that will make you a widely praised hero. But Theo is not a pet or a project. Pretending you're on a date with him isn't great. Slut shaming isn't okay even if it's in response to a slur. When you shame people for unrelated things because they were Oz, you're showing everyone how you really think. So anyone who heard you who embraces their sexuality in a way you don't like also got hurt by your comment. She was out of line and so were you. I also question your approach to this whole situation. You have a BF. And while Theo and BF planned the promposal, how clear have you been with Theo that you're just interested in being friends? Or is this a polyamory situation where you're seeing both of them? The way you present your relationship with Theo doesn't sound like you think of him as a peer with a genuine romantic interest in you. It doesn't sound like you consider him a possible romantic interest at all. It sounds like you're thinking of yourself as his savior, not his friend. It isn't just about disabled people being able to live their lives to the fullest. It's also about recognizing that disabled people are full people, with the same depth of feelings as abled people, and deserve to be treated with the same dignity and respect. As soon as I read, and my boyfriend, even Theo to an extent as he should have realized that you're already dating someone. Autistic people aren't your work experience program. Nor are we charity friends. If you have no intention of dating Theo, accepting his invite to prom with full knowledge that he has a crush on you isn't doing him any favors in the long run. It's just setting him up for disappointment once school is over and the NT kids who were nice to him out of pity stop talking to him. I am probably going to get downvoted for this, but AITA. I would vote ESH. Because a slur is unacceptable. But I need you to understand how horrible your actions are. Let me put my experiences into context. I am an older sibling to a person who has ASD and a cognitive impairment. I am also a special educator. You start off by saying you go into the self-contained class in your HS to help out because this is what you want to do someday. Great. Special educators are needed. However, you need to realize people with disabilities are people. The students in the self-contained class are your peers. They are not little children, pets, or things that need your superior, neurotypical tap help to survive. The students are there to learn. Just like you are in HS to learn. Theo asked you to prom. The same way your BF asked you to prom. If a non-disabled classmate asked you to prom with your BF, would you have accepted both your BF and the other classmates' invitations? Theo does not need your charity, pity, and faking. How is Theo going to feel when you kiss your BF? How will Theo feel when he tries to kiss you the same way your BF does and you reject him? He will be confused because in his eyes he is your prom date exactly like your BF is. I really hope your post is fake because you just created a situation where Theo will be set up for a meltdown at his own prom. And you will make his prom night a nightmare instead of a fun memory. There is no reason Theo cannot go to prom with someone else who wants to go with him. My sister went to 8 proms. With 4 or 5 different dates. Just because you don't believe someone can have genuine feelings for Theo doesn't mean that isn't actually possible. You are being just as ableist as the peer who used a slur. Autistic person here was 100% on your side until you mentioned that you have a boyfriend and B, you told someone they were used up. Seems like you're only going out of pity to feed your ego and not because you actually like him. Which is not cool. Making fun of someone for their sexual history is also not cool. Even if they're a bad person themselves. Her for the slur and you for both the slut-shaming and for treating an autistic kid as a prop. That's pretty messed up. Mandy is a jerk and you stooping down to her level with insults at her doesn't make it right. Either you could have definitely ignored what she said or play it calmly without the comparison. I agree with your sister. There were definitely way better high roads you could have taken. There is grace in being the better person, especially against someone you don't like. She's ableist and you went from zero to random slut shaming like it was qualifying lap at the Hypocrite 500. Her use of the R word, assuming that was it, was definitely not okay. But neither are you for slut shaming. You said you want to work with special needs kids. You better learn how to grow a thicker skin and control your mouth. Listen, you want a good idea of what to say when someone uses a slur? Go look up what Arnold Schwarzenegger said to a troll who denigrated people participating in the Special Olympics. It was in 2017. He basically said it was a teachable moment and why slut shaming someone is A, terrible, and B, not going to have the desired effect. It won't change anything. If your goal is to work with people with disabilities, it's important to start working towards dignity in your responses now, because the words will be a little different, but they keep on coming. It's something you will keep encountering forever. You're going to need a classy, direct way to respond to people who directly confront you and who confront the people you may be working with. Responding in kind just makes people look shallow and retaliatory. I'm going to say I get why you responded the way you did, but you didn't help the situation. As someone who works with autistic kids and also has several loved ones who are autistic, you're using that boy as a prop to make yourself feel good, and although I agree with the girl who pointed it out, I don't agree with the words she used to carry the message. Also, your boyfriend sucks for going along with the promposal. If you didn't have a boyfriend to go with and you had a genuine connection with this boy, even as a friend, then maybe it wouldn't be an move. But the way you describe him as funny and sweet, those are words used to describe autistic, neurodivergent, disabled people. It sounds like you haven't really gotten to know him beneath the surface. So you have no business agreeing to go to prom with him. YTA. You have a boyfriend and yet you accepted a date from a boy who you know has a huge crush on you. You've spent weeks talking about the crush he has on you. So, a guy has a crush on you, musters the courage to ask you out, and you say yes. Are you now dating him? When are you planning to break up with your boyfriend? Or was that what your talks were about? That if this other guy ever asked you out, you would go with him? Is that what you discussed with your boyfriend? I highly doubt it, which suggests you don't even see this guy as a real person. You're not going on a real date with him. You're treating him like a small child, as if it's funny and a joke. You're no better than the girl who used a slur. In fact, you're worse because you virtue signal. You act superior, but in reality, you regard him in a worse light than the girl who used the slur. Calling him a slur, at least, treats him like a normal human being. You don't do that. Then, to come here and call out the girl, knowing full well this is Reddit and that no one would call you the is just gross. You're the biggest here yet. If you really said that ableism is a bad thing, but being misogynistic to your classmate was also not okay. Except Theo, and maybe the BFIDK how to feel about that end of things yet. The girl for using bad language to purposefully hurt Theo, but you for slut-shaming and treating Theo like he's some sort of prop. The people that go to prom with the special needs kid just to look like a good person are just using people to make themselves feel like good people. You're also leading Theo on. He likes you, and you seem to be fine with the attention without telling him you don't feel the same.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.